Man, this car is filthy. Whose junker is this? Oh, wait, it's mine. All right, let's get moving and get this thing cleaned up. It's been so long since I last washed it. Feels like a lifetime ago. Time to give it a proper scrub. All right, here we are. Hey man, wash down the outside real quick. What do we have today? Another old classic covered in dirt. Just look at this thing. It's caked in mud to the point you can't even tell what kind of car it is. Seeing this much dirt is making my head spin. Every time I come here, these guys do such a great job, carefully washing every inch of the car. Watching all that dirt slowly come off is so satisfying. It's like I'm giving the car a much-needed bath. Feels amazing. Let's lather it up with some good old soap and get it sparkling clean. Man, these old cars just keep getting dirtier. One is filthier than the next. There's so much dust and grime that I can barely recognize what's underneath. Huge thanks to the car wash crew for scrubbing away years of built-up dirt. A little water pressure, and bam, suddenly we've got ourselves a whole new car. And just like that, we're done. One word to describe this feeling? Satisfying. Now let's do a quick interior cleanup. Gotta snap some pictures of this beauty to show off my happiness. Time to pull it out and drive back to the shop for a deeper clean. Cleaning the engine bay is one of the most satisfying things ever. Getting into all those tiny corners and wiping away years of grime, it's just too good. First thing when I get home? Wash the engine bay. Some people might ask, why not do it all at once? But trust me, taking your time and doing it right is the best way. Now let's wipe down the body, swap out the engine oil and transmission fluid. Changing the transmission oil is another deeply satisfying task. It just feels right. Clean out the filter, wash down the transmission pan, and once everything's spotless, seal it up properly. Before adding new oil, I always pour in an engine treatment to reduce friction and engine noise. Then, let's deep clean the steering wheel. Look at that shine. With fresh oil and transmission fluid, this car is feeling brand new. It's raining outside, but that just adds to the vibe. Classic car lovers, this one's for you. If you love vintage rides, drop a comment. I'll make sure to reply. This black beauty cleaned up so well. Just look at that shine. Next up, let's roll in the red Cadillac. Time to park it in the garage and cover it up with a custom car cover. Finishing touches complete. I swear this car hadn't been washed in decades. Filthy doesn't even begin to describe it. Time to hook up the battery and check out the trunk. What kind of treasures are hiding in there? Opening it up? Whoa, check this out. An old wedding decoration. And look at this, a red envelope. Actually, 3 red envelopes. Digging through the trunk, what do we have? A fire extinguisher, a spare tire, a mop, and half a bottle of oil. Gonna take that out, add some fresh oil for lubrication, and swap in a brand new engine. Checking the oil now. Looks good. Next up, replacing the spark plugs. Taking out the air filter, disconnecting the fuel line so no dirty gas gets in. Let's fire it up. No go. Probably a bad fuel pump. All right, time to drop the fuel tank. Yep, that pump is completely rusted out. And man, this tank is filthy inside. Gotta clean out the whole fuel system. Let's see how this fresh gas smells. Cleaning out the fuel lines, installing a brand new pump, and adding a carbon cleaner to flush the engine. Done. Oil's good, fuel's good. Let's reconnect everything and try again. Boom! It starts up. Music to my ears. At the end of the day, what do men love? Cars, whiskey, and women. Ain't that the truth? What do I love? Easy, classic cars. Some people love makeup, others love fashion, but me, I love old cars. The older, the better. The more beat up, the more I love them. That's why I'm always out here, getting my hands dirty, bringing these forgotten beauties back to life. If you've made it this far, I already know. You're a real car lover. You get it. Spending all day around dusty, rusted-out classics might not sound exciting to most people, but for me, there's nothing better. All right, let's roll. Time for a wash. This old junker gets the VIP treatment, picked up, cleaned up, and delivered back like royalty. Not bad for a car that hasn't seen soap in decades. Just look at it, covered in dirt from top to bottom. You can barely tell what color it is. But no worries, a little pressure wash and all that built-up grime will be gone. Watching layers of filth disappear and reveal that deep, glossy paint underneath, pure satisfaction, especially when it's a deep red. There's something about that color shining through that just hits different. Washing a car is like giving it a long overdue shower. And the best part? Scrubbing off the years of neglect with some thick foam and a good scrub mitt. Man, that feels good. Seeing the transformation happen right in front of me never gets old. Once the outside's sparkling, it's time to tackle the interior. A deep clean, a little restoration, and boom, the car feels brand new again. Of course, I have to snap a few pictures to show off my work. Gotta share the joy. Back home, first things first, strip the seats and give them a real deep clean. A little secret cleaning solution, a soft cloth, and some careful scrubbing, and they're looking fresh again. The front grille gets the toothbrush treatment, gently scrubbing off every bit of grime. Rust, gone. Dirt, gone. And with a little spray of magic formula, bam, like new. You know, sticking with something you love for a lifetime isn't always easy. Not everyone gets to chase their dreams, but if you do what you love, you'll never have regrets. Forget what people say. Just do what makes you happy. With the roof polished and every detail cleaned up, this old machine is finally shining again. And right on cue, it starts raining. Every single time I finish washing a car. But hey, that's just part of the fun. Now off to the shop for some real work. First, drop the fuel tank and flush the entire fuel system. Gotta get rid of all that nasty old gas and buildup. Then swap out the air filter, clean the fuel lines, and check the injectors. Let's take a peek inside the cylinders with an inspection camera. Some rust, but nothing too crazy. A little oil for lubrication, some cleaning, and we're good. Gotta deal with that nasty carbon buildup, though. New fuel lines, fresh spark plugs, and it's time to fire it up. Moment of truth. Let's start this beast. Boom! The engine roars to life. Music to my ears. To top it off, I add 2 bottles of carbon cleaner to flush out the last of the buildup. And just like that, this classic is officially back in business. Because at the end of the day, what do guys love? Cars, whiskey, and women. This engine is a beast. The fuel pump is working perfectly, so let's top it off with some fresh gas and let this classic taste some premium fuel. Tank's full, everything looks good. Now let's add high-quality coolant and upgrade the motor oil to keep it running smooth. Engine oil and transmission fluid are swapped out. And while older cars like this tend to burn a little oil, we're making sure it runs as clean as possible. After checking the fuel pump for leaks, it's clear it needs some work. And judging by the fluid on the ground, the rear brakes need fixing too. When it comes to restoring classics, having skills isn't enough. You need parts. And not just any parts, but a full stockpile of vintage car components. Look at these brake pads. 10 years in storage, but when the moment comes, they fit like a glove. With the brake calipers installed and the wheels back on, we're good to go. Now for a special job, rescuing a stretched Mercedes W123 that's been guarded by a little black dog for over a decade. A guy reached out and bought it, so it's finally coming home. This rare model sat untouched for years, and from the moment I saw it, I knew it was a hidden gem. First order of business? Swap out those spark plugs, replace the air filter, and add some oil to the cylinders for lubrication. A fresh battery goes in, fuel lines get disconnected to keep old gas from gunking up the carburetor, and now it's time to start her up. That old gas is filthy, so I set up a bottle to catch the sludge before it makes a mess. Oil check, all good. My motto? If it turns, it runs. Time for ignition. Boom! The engine roars to life. The oil is pure sludge, so we flush the fuel lines, install a new fuel filter, and take it for a spin. But the moment I hop in, that musty old car smell smacks me in the face. No way I'm driving like this. Time for a deep clean. I grab 2 bottles of industrial-strength odor remover, crank up the AC, and let it circulate while I take a look under the hood. This car rocks a straight-six naturally aspirated engine with 129 horsepower and a 2.5-liter displacement. Over time, bacteria and mold build up in the vents, but my go-to disinfectant works every time. This ride has barely 76,703 miles on it, and the dashboard? Not a single crack. A true rarity. But the real treasure is that it's an extended 7-seater model with a factory-installed secretary seat. And check this out, a manual radio from the 70s. It's been sitting for years without a wash, so now it's time to bring back its shine. Let's go, old Benz. It's time for a bath.